And we'll begin with David.
Like that song goes, I pray for you.
First of all, I don't think there was any call for speaking to Mr. Ward like that. Second, Mr. Barreto, you promised me to fix the net in Tallahassee. My word means something. What about yours? The legislature was promised that you fix the net in exchange for huge civil fines and penalties against us. You held 3 meetings where I drove 2,700 miles. And in a 10-to-1 vote, we voted for what net we were going to get. And you had our support for the increased fines and penalties in exchange for that net. We've had representatives testify to such. We never got the net. So you forced us to waste 98% of this resource on an issue you admit you had the constitutional authority to do and fix. Instead of 3%, we're wasting 98%. You claim that the CCA will sue us. The CCA can't sue you. You have the authority to pass anything even without a rational basis. That was determined by the first DCA. If you read the opinion of the first DCA chief judge, there's no rational basis. Two of your own experts state there is no rational basis for that 2-inch mesh net. Your own experts. And if you want rational basis, you could go to Saul's 27-page order that you had sealed, which said your net is unconstitutional. You're destroying the lives of the coastal community, and we were wondering why you do it and why you have these orders sealed. Why are you doing this? You promised us the net in exchange for our support of your bills. You promised us due process with a crab bill, and you've just completely turned your back on all due process. The only due process in your report to the legislature is that we can go to court. When we get to the court, you told the first DCA chief judge that he didn't have the authority to question your wisdom. So there is no due process. And you're forcing us to waste 98% of this resource under an amendment whose only purpose, defined by the Supreme Court, was to prevent it. Now, just a couple days ago, we've been searching for a way to challenge you in court. Very prestigious law firms say there is no ability to challenge you. But a couple of days ago, the phone's been ringing off the hooks, faxes have been coming in. We now have ownership in the share of the resource. And now we have standing. This ownership sort of gives you the problem of having to answer why you're forcing us to waste 98% of our time, 98 juvenile fish for every 2 we take to market. And may I suggest to you that you fix this, or we have to take you to court immediately. Also, let me bring up one more point. For 11 years, you've been telling us you can fix the net. That's why you had meeting after meeting in Tallahassee. I listened for up to 60 different meetings in Tallahassee. Wasted my money, my time. That's a lot of damage to me. And then you tell the legislature, no, the Constitution prevents us from doing it. That damage, according to the law firms we've been speaking to, is real and obtainable. But we're willing to forget all that if you increase the mesh size of the net and stop the unnecessary killing and waste that you're causing and the destruction of the environment, economy, and citizens. And that's all I have to say, and I'm going to leave you with a copy of the case that just came out June 17, 2010, saying that commercial fishermen have a ownership of the resource.
Thank you. Richard Van Munster.
David, could you get that? Actually, I have a copy of that. Let me just give it to me.
Hi, I guess I can come up here and get ignored too. But you know, I gave you all one of these. Right here, see this? You know, it's really funny that I found this in National Fisherman. And I read it and I laughed. I laughed at what a bunch of hypocrites the sport fish my office. And how much power they have. You know, it's disgusting. See his hat I'm wearing? I told you once before, I didn't risk my life for you for this. But let me read you something out of this. This is about the MPAs, when they were doing the MPAs. It says, ironically, the CCA is using, on behalf of recreational fishermen, arguments that are reminiscent of those advanced by commercial fishermen without success. And they were This is Mr. Bob Hayes. He says, no fishing zones are created, he says. The decision should be science-based. It has to have a sound scientific basis. You have to balance the implementation of it against the public's historical value of having access to the public resource. We've been completely, we're not even considered part of the public anymore. Well, I'm thinking about it. Thanks for calling me back, Brian. And, Bob Jones, the executive director of Southeastern Fisheries, says here that he was asking for science too. Along comes in that man, no science. You all have admitted that. It's a political solution to a perception. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. And it's funny how Mr. Hayes was after due process. I'm bugging you, ain't it? It was after due process. He was after science. He was after doing the right thing. He was after historic precedents. He was after the culture. He was after everything. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking to overturn anything. We're asking for rationale, and you don't have any in this, other than what you want. Your own scientist has said that in a letter to me. One of y'all got it. He said, Richard, it ain't us. It's them. And right here, his own words, the reduction of net size to 500 square feet or less likely had the biggest impact in reducing commercial landings in certain fisheries. The amendment says nothing about mesh size. Your 2-inch mesh is defined in the Constitution as a gill net. Mr. Barreto, I'm going to ask you a question. Is it legal for you to give us a big mesh? You're a lying dog.
God, you are a lying dog.
That is the end of our speakers.
Big dog has spoken, I guess.
Mr. Chairman, that's the end of our speakers for the day.
God, what a lying dog.
All right.
All right?
Dog is his day, remember that.
Additional discussion?
Dwight, I've been called worse, baby.
Dwight.
I can handle it.
Dwight,
Me too.
I can handle it, man.
It's I'll tell some of how the week last couple of days.
I know, you almost thought you were in the football field again there, huh?
I think all the pretty bad things out there. But again, it's been an enjoyable time, and totally. I mean, it has been another 2 good days, and I know the state of Florida and all of us as individuals are facing, that big things going on out there in the Gulf. But I know, like in the past, we all, as well as the state, we will survive and we will get through it. And I think it's just like everybody's doing what they're doing now with the agency as well. They're doing everything they can. I like to applaud and say that the agency is doing a great job, and law enforcement out there doing what they can to help out, as well as the scientists and the commissioners that have been out there too. Some of us, I haven't been able to get out there, but some of the people have been out there, the commissioners have been out there to see how and see what they can do and see what's going on and trying to keep the people and everybody else informed as best they can. So I'm sure we'll get through this, and just like we do with everything else. And again, great job to staff for doing another great job with preparing, and as always. And then Commissioner Wright, again, I know he's not here, but he's done a wonderful job of entertaining this week, and I'd like to again thank him for that. So again, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dwight. Brian, you ready?
Again, just want to, one of the issues that TJ and Paul brought up at the very end there about the swordfish and 15 boats per head, I think, if it's, again, if there's a concern, I would think we'd hear from our followers, but it does seem like something we should keep an eye on.
Yeah.